The penultimate episode is here. Cam is still shining, and Keisha and Simone might just be walking into the best versions of themselves. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another All-American Homecoming video. And y'all, with each new episode, next week we will have the season/series finale. It is getting harder and harder to say goodbye. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out on any of my All-American Homecoming conversations as we get ready to wrap up the coverage of this series. I'm your good sis, Sheila Talk TV with, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump right on into it. The way that we are getting Cam at the tail end of this season is highway robbery, if you ask me, because if y'all had this in mind this entire time and we only got bits and pieces of the Cam character thus far, we have been shortchanged, we have been robbed, we have been duped, if you will, and I actually hate that for us. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the struggle of Cam this episode, with feeling worthy, with continuing to push forward through exhaustion, through countless ups and downs as it pertains to like basically actualizing his dreams. He is suffering in this episode from J Marks basically tainting his reputation in the music industry. The one thing I struggled with was Simone texting Layla to get him an interview, because why is Simone texting Layla? But I didn't let that deter me, because this storyline for Cam is absolutely brilliant, right? I loved it, and I thought that it was so real, so authentic, so human. So human to have evolved and grown and progressed in ways that are just so beautiful for you as a person, but to still struggle when you meet new obstacles at various levels, struggle with keeping momentum and struggle with consistently believing that this was made for you. It is so easy to get knocked off of your square. It is so easy to get distracted by all of the tough stuff, and I thought that Cam's story this episode did a beautiful job of displaying that. Not that he should think less of himself, not that he should think that he's unworthy, but I think that it's very real and people experience this. So to watch it play out in this way, it was just beautiful to me to see, because it's just so relatable. Even I've had moments of like, should I really be doing this? Do people really care? Do I care? Like all of the things that just go through your head that's like kind of like talking you out of your talent sometimes, talking you out of your future blessings if you stay the course, because we, you know, again, as humans, we get subject to negative thoughts, to limited beliefs, to societal pressures, to, you know, people seeing the potential, the light, the beauty, the amazingness in you and wanting to squelch that because they are jealous and because they maybe won't ever, you know, actualize what you were potentially capable of actualizing. And I think that that all speaks to what Cam's story is, and to know where he come from just makes it even sweeter. So to watch him go up and down and to ultimately want to quit, but then Keisha conspires with Lando to create a moment for him to draw up some publicity for himself, to put himself out there as a solo artist, which we have been speaking about in the past lives, like the past 3 lives. We've been talking like, Cam, we know that you're writing these songs for these artists, but if they ain't getting, like, get your ass up there and sing. You part of the acapella group, like you be singing. Like what it is, what it ain't. And no shade to my good sis Allie Nick, but girl, yeah, he needed to go solo. It's not a thing where he was like, you know, hiding from it and he didn't want to perform. This was always what he was destined to do. And sometimes it takes us playing the background. I know I've spent countless times, you know, or countless years within my career within television and film, producing for other people, creating behind the scenes. And I am just now walking into really pushing myself to the forefront, building a personal brand, and like commanding a certain level of attention and respect for my particular thoughts coming from my particular mouth with my particular face. Like, so I just thought that the whole thing was so relatable, and it created such a beautiful redemption arc for Keisha, because we have struggled, and we talked about this on countless lives, not even just this season, but previous seasons, with like Keisha dropping the ball in the relationship, not necessarily meeting Cam where he is emotionally, not meeting Cam where he is communicatively. And this episode, she really has shown growth. She's shown learning. She's shown regret and repentance. Like, and not that Cam's God, or maybe I need another word for repentance. I can't think of one right now. But like, she has learned from the mistake. And that is the key. Like, for me, accountability is just such a big thing. And once you apologize and take accountability, there's countless places we can go. The possibilities are endless. But when you spend time running from accountability, running from owning your running from speaking to what you did to hurt this person, you're stopped dead in the water. And in this episode, in addition to pulling up the stops and doing what needed to be done to create a moment for Cam to reclaim his career, redefine and reclaim his career, she also was able to atone for the mistakes that she made in the relationship. I think she was able to think deeper and speak to the real of like what put her in that circumstance with JR to compromise her relationship. And to me, it felt like the most genuine dialogue around the kiss gate and the breakup that I have seen from Keisha. And now I'm like, okay, girl, Cam can be with this girl. Cam can be with the girl who can fully see herself, flaws and all. It's not always just, it's, you know, popping ass lipstick and cute ass hairstyles and pop lock and dropping it because you knew from round the way. Like, sometimes it's mess. Sometimes it's thinking less of yourself and sabotaging the beautiful gifts that God has given you by way of people, by way of places, by way of opportunities, because you don't think that you deserve it. But the T is, that part is the humanness in it. That part speaks to your trauma, or that part speaks to whatever lived experience created that belief in you. And the belief in itself isn't the problem. It's all the actions that you take as a result of the belief. And then if you plan to grow or learn or push out of that belief. And I feel like we're finally at that place. And I'm just looking at Keisha like, well, damn, girl, where this girl been at? Because we only got one episode left and now I kind of want to see more. It felt so good to watch Cam be lifted in this episode, to watch Cam fall basically to places of disbelief in himself and in what, you know, God may have had in store for him, and to have people conspiring without him asking for it, conspiring for his good. She went as far as to ask her new boss to, you know, reach out to his former boss, which ultimately ends up getting Cam the opportunity to be signed as a solo artist because, you know, I can't think of the name, y'all. I'm sorry. But the boss from the record label didn't know he was performing if Keisha didn't call a few people, if Keisha didn't pull up the stops, if Keisha didn't immediately like hear what was happening. It was like, yeah, no, that ain't gonna be able to work because he's too talented, and you need to, I want you to see you how I see you. And it's like, yes. And you know what was coming up now as I'm talking about it? We're finally seeing reciprocity. And now I can, I'm not even gonna speak for y'all, I'm gonna say me. Now I can greenlight them actually finding their way back to one another because Keisha has reached a place of reciprocity. Now, going over to another couple that's trying to find their way to each other. Lando and Simone this episode are basically like dancing around the idea of having to talk to get together. And while I appreciate her speech and while I appreciate her taking time, she communicates that it has been weeks since the last episode and she wanted to take time and really think on how she felt and not act rashly, which I greatly appreciate because she acts rashly most of the time. I want to hope for them, but I think the thing that I'm missing with Simone is that same feeling that Lando will receive reciprocity the way that he loves her. And it's clear that she appreciates all that he has done for her. It's clear that she is sexually attracted to him. It's clear that she's physically attracted to him, but it's not fully clear that Simone is in a place where she can immediately switch to the place that we watch Keisha go to and conspire for Lando's greatest good. The same way that Lando, without a misstep, you barely got to say 2 words about Simone and what she going through, and Lando going to be there with a solution, multiple solutions, and y'all going to run through every last option until her problem is fixed, until her woes are released, until she is rejoicing in her greatness. And I don't know if we had time in this episode, because for Simone's story, it was mostly about, them pushing forward within the conference and stepping up and beating their rivals so that they could, compete in the championships, which they ultimately do. But I'm less excited for the Lando Simone of it all because I'm not fully convinced yet that Simone is ready to meet Lando with the reciprocity that he deserves, if that makes sense. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comment section. I cannot wait for this live because we're probably going to be on this unpacking it like crazy tomorrow. If you miss it, or if you didn't know, I'm sorry. I go live every Tuesday after a new All-American episode on Mondays to, do a live unpacking, reactions, thoughts, and conversations with you all about the episode. So check it out, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on Erica Bain TV. By the end of the episode, Simone is hit with rumors about her doping, and it's probably the little rival girl who is planting these rumors because she didn't expect Simone to beat her. I really don't want to watch Simone worry about this because she knows that she's only on cancer meds, and she knows that she reported that to the NCAA. So, regardless of these goddamn rumors, who cares? Who cares? They can't stop you from playing because the NCAA is the only people who can rule that. They can go ahead and drug test your ass. You've already gone through this before, so I would hope that you have tightened up what you were eating and, not necessarily have to have the same false positive as before. I don't even want this to be any sweat off of her brow. I feel like this is such a trite way to introduce additional conflict for the very last episode, and we've also already seen this storyline, and I'm kind of over it. I also was over the little rival team coming and interrupting the pep rally, but then I was also like, the pep rally for the tennis team, this is all been feeling like a very far stretch, because I'm also like, it's one thing, yes, you want people to support you and all that, but if you need all of that to win, then maybe it wasn't actually meant for you to win. And I kind of want to unpack that tomorrow on a live, because I really was thinking of what was my resistance that I was feeling while watching them make this big ass deal about nobody comes and watches our matches, nobody da 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 da. It's just like, do y'all want to play the damn sport or not? Because yes, you want people in the stands, and yes, you want people to cheer for you, but at the end of the day, so often we hear the story of I just want to play because my school's about to drop the team. So which one is it? Y'all like to jump, hop, skip between struggles, and I'm like, pick a struggle and stick with that damn struggle, because I'm tired of hearing the goddamn whining. I actually appreciated the little freshman talking about sometimes you got to be able to stand on your own. You can have a village, that's cool. Simone, you have people backflipping to show up for you all the time, but you got to be able to stand up for your own. And I didn't really appreciate them kind of reversing it on her later, and then having her come to a place of yeah, Simone, you was right, because it's two things can be true. You both can be right. Yes, you need to lean on your village when at all possible, and no, leaning on your village doesn't make you weak, but you also need to be able to operate at some point on your own, because if you're only able to function, if you're only able to exude excellence, if you're only able to win when other people are propping you up, how great are you? I think that's something to be said about that. I'm just saying. But Simone wasn't insufferable this episode. I actually didn't necessarily mind what she had going on. I'm just not fully convinced. But I enjoyed watching her process and try to find the right moment to talk to Lando. And then I really enjoyed Cam. Lando, you love Simone. Look at this book. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Stop playing, Negro. I felt like it worked so well, especially given, Cam's heartbreak with Keisha, and then all that Keisha had been doing. So the two bros talking about their love lives just really gave in this episode. Now, what I am not looking forward to is Damon coming back and I guess trying to get Simone back next episode. I can't, y'all. I can't. Y'all gave me this whole season without Peyton Alex Smith, and now you're going to come back just to add a little icing on the cake of him doing some petty to chase after Simone Hicks? Oy vey. Keisha, I'm proud of you. JR, oh I could not believe what I was watching this episode, y'all, if I'm gonna be honest, as it pertains to JR. They are going to ruin his character. And it's wild because last week we were talking on live, and we had to kind of coach Kofi through Negroes don't need to be perfect for you to love them and for you to appreciate the representation of black men on screen. So JR learning from the kids would be great. I'm saying they're gonna ruin his character because it's are we watching him fall in love with Keisha after that lackluster thing with Gabby and the closure with Gabby last episode, which was I guess a couple weeks ago? It just felt very weird. And then with that, we're watching him kind of fall for Keisha and realize the person who knows you the best has said da 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 da, whatever he said to Lando's ass. Are you considering Cam? Are you considering your relationship with Cam and what your feelings for Keisha would actually mean for y'all's relationship? Because that's the part that was completely missing for me. It's one thing for him to feel like he really is developing more feelings for Keisha. He's interested in Keisha, but to not see any reflection on his part by way of like, what does this mean for you and Cam? For him to not seem remorseful for like losing what he had with Cam, that's the part that I'm struggling with. That's the part that I feel like is where the ruining of his character is, because it's one thing to make a mistake and to have a kiss, and it's another thing to like fall in love with this person because they showed up for you and they've spoken life into you in various ways, and that makes sense. But to completely negate any feelings, any relationship, any brotherhood that you cultivated with her man, and all that comes with the complications of that, that's the part that I'm just like, okay, now I'm about to call bullshit, now I'm about to call trifling, now I'm about to call petty, now it's time to throw JR away. And then JR stories, he's considering a sponsor who is kind of crooked and weird, and he's willing to compromise and not be straight and narrow because he's worried about just getting the money for this club team. And then Keisha's the one who has to like push him to look into the sponsor, the potential sponsor, push him to look into the scandals, and then push him to not just accept the money but to have some morals about him. And I'm just like, when did JR ever need to be pushed to have morality and ethics? Yikes. And with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Let me know all your thoughts about the episode in the comment section down below. If you know, you can join the Discord as well, and people are typically sounding off after new episodes with their initial thoughts in the All American Homecoming channel. So many ways to keep the conversation going and to explore your thoughts around the series that you love right here on Erica Bae TV. So if this is the first time that you're coming across me and my channel and my content, then it's time for you to hit the subscribe button. Like the video because you made it all the way to the end, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow on live as we further unpack this episode.